In 2016, the Indian gaming scene in general was still on the up and up.
Back then, esports essentially meant going to your local gaming cafe, winning 2,000 rupees, and that's your weekend done.
Historically, Indian teams have never done well in international tournaments. Most of them lost with embarrassing scorelines.
One of the reasons that the Indian scene has always been sort of self-contained, and then you couple that with purchasing power in a country like India, not having access to performance machines.
We really had to import expertise. Optic gaming was essentially the embodiment of every bedroom gamer's dream.
It was very important to me to make sure that India was a focal point. I thought there was a huge potential there.
Counter-Strike's a first-person shooter.
One of the biggest esports on the planet with a legacy of over 20 years.
In India specifically, Counter-Strike has been well received.
The goal of the Optic India project was firstly to become the best team in India as soon as possible, and then put India on the map.
This could be finally India's chance at actually having a shot at an international title.
Community was excited because we are Indians and we are passionate about everything we love.
We decided to do a tryout process. The idea was that we wanted to build a squad from the ground up.
We've never actually done a selection process like this. I don't think many teams have done this anywhere in the world, right? And the fact that you guys are here, we're making history, okay?
Thousands and thousands of people applied for it. It was an opportunity that nobody really wanted to miss out on.
All these gamers who had been playing for years and years and years without any major achievements under their belt, all those underdogs had a chance.
You had players traveling from remote cities to the LAN venue in Bangalore, and then you had these players that we had never heard of.
They selected me trying out for those 5 slots. I went there, I played only one game, but I was a beast on that game.
A lot of young talent that we found that would never have been found had it not been due to the tryout.
I got selected, and then finally we moved to the Bangalore boot camp. It was amazing.
These are 5 young men that had never really left home and lived on their own and had to fend for themselves.
We all stayed together because it's a team sport. You need to be together to improve.
Forsaken was one of those hidden gems. He was one of those players that came with unnatural amount of skill.
He was bought in for his brains more than his reflexes.
He did have a past that was a little shady as well, though. There were accusations that he was a cheater.
But although people were saying he was fishy, we didn't have any proof or any concrete evidence to, bench him or kick him out of the team.
One of our biggest events coming up was one tournament in Shanghai. We had to qualify in India first.
They went out there, they won the tournament quite convincingly, and all eyes were on Optic, like, hey, these guys have some stardust that it's sprinkling on their players that's working.
Finally, you have qualified for the ESL Pro League Season 8, right?
And then we got the flight to Shanghai.
It was the first time the players were flying international. They were, going to this big tournament, and everything was on the table, right? We were representing India now.
The Zawi tournament is one of the best opportunities for Indian teams to compete against the best Asia has to offer.
3, 2, 1, let's go!
We played Vietnam, must-win game for us. And I was having a very good game. I was, single-handedly destroying them.
Optic India were just one map away from winning. It was halfway through the map when we noticed that the admins had called a pause.
That usually happens when, say, the monitor goes off, or somebody's device is not working, or the internet is lagging. But it was lasting way longer than a normal technical pause.
We saw not just one admin, but slowly a second admin, and then probably 5 minutes later, a third admin.
There's like a little bit of a scuffle.
At that point in time, we kind of knew that this was not going to end well.
Holy I was like, this is real. This guy, this kid, my player, has been caught cheating. And everything kind of just went black.
He cheated while representing one of the biggest orgs in the world, while competing in one of the largest tournaments in Asia. It is quite a 1 in a million kind of incident.
He was just a dumb kid. He just felt scared he'd get kicked from the team because he wasn't a great aimer.
This guy had a special button at the side, and if he presses that button, that's when the cheat gets activated, and his aim automatically snaps to the nearest target.
There are a lot of cheats out there. This was definitely a premium cheat in the sense that he paid for it.
The cheating industry, it's massive. There is a lot of money involved.
If gaming itself is a multi-billion-dollar industry, then video game cheating is also a multi-million-dollar industry.
This guy had done an excellent job of hiding the truth. He not only hid it from his teammates, but everybody. He fooled everybody.
That was really, a kick in the gut for all of us.
The entire team had to be disqualified, and emotions are running really high. All the players, all his teammates felt extremely betrayed.
I was crying the whole time holding the Indian flag. And I don't know what to do, what to say.
I'm feared till this day this might happen again to me. Even today in the tournaments and the tactical timeouts, I feel a short shock. It's just for 1 second, but it's still there.
It was like the perfect storm.
Back at home, everyone was furious.
Indian audience is one that loves passionately and hates passionately. There were conversations of beating him up at the airport. There were conversations of how he had disappointed the nation.
There was also a lot of racism and hate thrown towards the Indian players. Him and his team were disbanded.
We were so close to greatness, and it all just came crashing down.
Almost immediately, everyone was allergic to that region and that scene.
It did send Indian esports and CSGO into a dark age.
We clearly realized that we don't have enough checks and balances in place. But then you had tournament organizers using this as a wake-up call to say that, we cannot let another Forsaken incident happen ever again.
Without integrity of the game, we don't have a sport. Everything falls apart.
Today, the Indian gaming scene is thriving.
We are the first generation experiencing esports as a career in India.
If I were to look back 10 years, we would be extremely happy back then if someone paid for us to take a 24-hour train from Mumbai to Bangalore. Today, nothing short of $100,000 is incentive to compete in a tournament.